Attention on deck!
Jokes. I like jokes, and everyone knows the best way to enjoy a joke is to explain it in excruciating detail. So today I wanted to talk about my favorite joke. It comes from the 2022 film Top Gun Maverick. If you haven't seen it, go watch it right now. It's really good. If you haven't seen the movie, the joke on its own will not be that funny. Well, it might be a little funny, but you really have to watch the 104 minutes of the movie that comes before to truly experience the joke. I would even argue that this joke is the heart of the entire movie and considered the climax of the story that ties everything together. This joke, in one moment, provides perfect comedic relief, resolves our character's conflict, and reinforces the themes of the movie. It is the greatest joke in cinema. Like I said before, I like jokes, and I believe they're the most powerful social tool we have available. But with all tools, there is proper and improper use. You know, if you're at work and something breaks or a little mistake happens, just make a quick joke, have a laugh, fix it and move on. Of course, if something serious happens, like a catastrophic failure or death, you probably don't want to make a joke about it. However, fictional storytelling doesn't need to adhere to these social rules, which allows storytellers to either keep tension by not joking or provide some relief with a joke. And this is an important tool because for there to be a roller coaster of emotions, there needs to be ups and downs, tension and release. An example of this in Top Gun Maverick is in a recurring situation that Maverick finds himself in. When he does something crazy and irresponsible, he is then chewed out by a superior. Socially, having a meeting with your boss to discuss you disobeying orders, breaking safety measures, and stealing a $66 million jet would probably be one of the most tense conversations you could have, and making any sort of joke by either person would be inappropriate. I mean, look at this guy, he's pretty upset. However, when it comes to the movie, the intense situation that precedes that conversation is the important part. So to give the audience permission to breathe a little, they slip in a few jokes to prevent the scenes from being too heavy. The experimental jet blows up, and then Maverick's shown to be okay. Rooster and Maverick almost fly into the ground, and they didn't crash and Rooster does his push-ups. Steal a $66 million jet and do the Canyon any % world record run? He hit the target and everyone said nice. The joke isn't in the middle of a high-intensity white-knuckle scene, it comes well after the death-defying stunt, and after the resolution of the scene. Now on to the actual joke in question. It's said by Rooster to Maverick, so we need to know the conflict between these two characters. To summarize, Rooster is Goose's son, and Goose died in the first movie because of an oopsie-daisy Maverick did. Maverick didn't think Rooster was ready to be a pilot and tried to protect him by pulling his papers for the Naval Academy, setting him back 4 years. So when Rooster gets in the pool of candidates for the big mission, they start immediately beefing, and Maverick keeps saying, "Don't think, just do," which relates to the main themes of the movie, but we'll get into that soon. And they almost fly their jets into the ground. You know, just guy things. In the end, though, Maverick selects Rooster for the mission, and Rooster seems to have wanted to make amends before setting off on their mission. Which brings us to when the joke is said. It's after Rooster gets shot down, which happened because he went back for Maverick, because Maverick got shot down, because he ran out of flares saving Rooster, since Rooster ran out of flares, because they were in the middle of this hellfuck. Oh my god, holy shit, what? Because they blew up the bunker after hitting a personal best through the canyon, and the entire time, there aren't any jokes during that. It's just straight up white knuckle, edge of your seat intensity, which was super fun. Oh my god, I love this sequence so much. The last joke was Rooster hitting the boost and Bob's heads up. And even then, the tension for the mission has been building ever since Maverick was appointed team leader. So needless to say, things have been pretty intense for the last few scenes without much time to relax. The writers wanted to relieve all that tension so that they could build it up again. All of the uncertainty, which causes narrative tension, has been resolved. Maverick got the team to fly the mission, hit the target twice, so mission accomplished, and while it's unfortunate that they got shot down, it's no longer a mystery whether they would or not. Maverick seems fine physically, and we see Rooster shoot, so he's probably fine too. I love the framing of the shot, by the way. Okay, so the only thing now is current objective survive. Now, I'm sorry, but I just gotta break this scene down for you. It's so good. Big sweeping establishing shot that shows Maverick's race to find Rooster. As he's running through the forest, the music is still a bit intense, but as soon as we see Rooster packing his chute, a calm, sustained string gives us relief that he's okay. We might expect a hug or some sigh of relief or thanks for saving my life, but instead he shoves Rooster to the ground. That itself is pretty... Cool. You need to stop hitting my keyboard. What follows is probably the most manly argument ever, where both of them whine about wanting credit for making the big sacrifice play, and in the middle of the argument, Rooster lays down the greatest joke in all of cinema.
What the hell were you even thinking?
You told me not to think!
The storytellers had the confidence to know that this was funny. Everyone's gonna laugh, and they've been building to this all movie with some pretty intense scenes recently. So they let it breathe. He says the line, and then it is 20 seconds and 4 different shots before Maverick speaks again. They both say, "It's good to see you," which is confirmation that their beef is resolved. "It's all good, we're chillin'," and then they immediately go on with their mission. Seriously, this is just how men work sometimes. Have a little fight, shove your bro to the ground, shout back and forth, say a funny joke, and you're right back to it. The joke itself has so many layers to it. Like I said before, there's the comedic relief aspect, and on the surface, it's him throwing Maverick's words back in his face, which is funny to do in the middle of an argument because Maverick kind of walked into that one with the number of times he says, "Don't think, just do," while on his high horse. I think that's the compounding factor. Maverick is the best pilot and knows best, and is superior to Rooster in every way. The joke takes Maverick down a peg and seemingly puts them on the same level for a moment. If you think about it, which the movie gives us plenty of time to do, it also tells us that Rooster has been listening to Maverick the whole movie. He wasn't dismissive or let hatred blind him, but was listening and trying to learn from the best, which now makes the joke endearing and subtly adds a lot to the character's dynamic. It makes fun of and highlights the student-teacher relationship the two characters have, which is a real human connection. Speaking of human connection, that's the big theme of the movie, humanity. Part of being a human is making illogical choices. Of course, Maverick does this multiple times throughout the movie. He pushes well beyond the accepted logical limits of his aircraft twice. He takes the team to the beach even though the logical thing would be to practice the flight course. And lastly, instead of choosing Hangman, who is the better pilot, he chooses Rooster. Rooster then makes his illogical decision, which is to go back for Maverick, knowing that he was probably going to get shot down. With the movie's theme of humanity, there are bits that talk about AI replacing jobs or how the operator is more important than the tool itself, but the real core is Maverick's repeated line, "Don't think, just do," which originally starts by talking about unconscious competence, but transforms into meaning follow your heart. It's too good. This joke is too good. I swear, they could have possibly written this joke first and then the rest of the script around it to make it work. Probably not, but in summary, the joke comes right after some of the most intense fighter jet action I've seen on the big screen. When we are desperately in need of some comedic relief, squares away the interpersonal conflict between our protagonist and deuteragonist, while also building upon Maverick's humanity motif. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I genuinely cannot think of another singular joke that does more for a movie than this one. So if you know one that even comes close, please comment it down below. I want to know.